Good morning to our panelists. Today we're going to present our research paper entitled The Level of Self-Esteem, Its Relationship to Social Anxiety of the Students.
In the present time, many of the students experience the anxiety of fear in a particular situation, such as applying for a job, meeting new people, and answering questions in a class. Their self-esteem can affect the stability and bond with others. According to Lancer 2019, self-esteem is a ramification of happiness and enjoyment of life. According to Richard 2020, social anxiety is a fear of being judged and negatively evaluated by the people.
The purpose of this study is to look for the relationship between the social anxiety and the self-esteem of the student and how it affects their performance. This paper will help them develop their self-esteem and control their social anxiety.
This study is anchored in three theories, namely social meter theory, reflected appraisal theory, and attachment theory. Social meter theory by Mark Reyer in 1999 is one of the prominent theories concerning self-esteem. It states that self-esteem monitors the quality of an individual's actual and potential relationship. This reflects to our study a self-esteem is a meter that serves to monitor the interpersonal relationships. Another theory is reflected appraisal theory by Cooley 1902, which it is a concept which means that people form an opinion about themselves based on what they perceive from other people's opinion. This reflects to our study as it explains how people or a group or how a person or a group can affect their self-esteem in everyday life. And the last theory proposed by John Bowlby 1958 is the attachment theory. It is a psychological theory concerning with the relationship between humans. In general, those three theories tackles about how self-esteem affects the social anxiety of the students. It supports the study and help the researchers to identify the level of self-esteem and its relationship to social anxiety experienced or suffered by the students of University of Cebu.
Statement of the problem. This study aims to assess the level of self-esteem and relate it to senior high school students' social anxiety in University of Cebu during the school year 2020 to 2021. Specifically, it sought to answer the following. 1. What is the level of students' social anxiety? 2. What is the level of students' self-esteem? 3. Is there a significant relationship between the level of self-esteem and social anxiety of the students?
Review of related literature and studies. In this chapter presents the review of related literature and related studies of self-esteem and its relationships to social anxiety. Related literature. In psychology, self-esteem refers to a person's overall sense of self-worth or personal value. Sidikines and Greece stated that self-esteem refers to the individual's perception or subjective appraisal of one's self-worth, one's failing, or self-respect and self-confidence, and the extent to which the individual holds positive and negative views about self. In general, self-esteem plays an important role in individual success throughout life.
High level of self-esteem. If you have high level of self-esteem, you have the ability in recognizing clues, both confidence in participating school activities. Low self-esteem. Lack of confidence and feeling bad about oneself. Often unlovable, awkward and incompetent, especially in school performance.
Social anxiety or social phobia is one of the most common psychological disorders experienced by the adolescents in the present time. According to Steen and Walker 2011, social anxiety is an excessive fear of social situation or social performance when the person deals with unfamiliar people or being observed by others. It is characterized by negative cognitive, behavioral, and social emotional consequences. People might develop social anxiety when meeting new people, when observed eating or drinking, and perform in front of the crowd. Probably they are afraid of embarrassment, other people's evaluation, humiliated, and rejection.
This study is related to the study of EcoShip 2014, ISGIC 2014, Emmanuel 2015, Seema and Venkatesh 2017, and Aluhar 2019. The findings of these studies confirm a negative correlation or inverse relationship of social anxiety and self-esteem, in which as social anxiety decreases, self-esteem increases, and vice versa.
The researcher used correlational design for this study. It also helps them in collecting data and analysis of this study. According to Fleetwood 2020, correlational design is a correlation between two variables. It also helped the researchers to measure and observe the relationship between the variables.
In our research respondent, we chooses the Senior High School Department of University of Cebu main campus, which the sample size composed of 50 senior high school students from grade 12 to aged 17 to 20 years old, which consists 25 male and 25 are female. So stratified sampling was adapted to the study sample.
So in this study, the researchers used two measuring scales, namely the Leibowitz Social Anxiety Scale and the Rosenberg Self-Esteem Scale. So the Leibowitz Social Anxiety Scale consists of 24 items that shows the possible social anxiety severity rating of the student. The alpha reliability of the scale is 0.90 to 0.97.
The Rosenberg Self-Esteem Scale is developed in mid-1960s by Dr. Maurice Rosenberg. It consists of 10 statements that are associated with overall feeling of self-worth or self-acceptance. It is answerable on 4-point scale ranging from strongly agree to strongly disagree. The chroma alpha of Rosenberg Self-Esteem Scale is 0.77 to 0.88.
The specific problem mentioned in Chapter 1 to measure the level of self-esteem and social anxiety, the researcher utilized the statistical package of social sciences by using means and standard deviation. Pearson product moment coefficient of correlation was utilized to identify the statistical relationship of the level of self-esteem to social anxiety of the student. Pearson correlation coefficient is a measure of the linear association of two variables.
The Table 1 contains the results of the 50 students' level of self-esteem, 25 girls and 25 boys. The weighted mean is 2.5200, which show that their self-esteem was high. On top of that, item number 8 seemed to have the highest tally, while on the other hand, the item number 1 got the lowest. It shows that the students in University of Cebu Senior High School Department has high level of self-esteem.
In student social anxiety, there are two tables. So the first one is the performance anxiety and avoidance of the student. So as you can see, the question number 16 got the highest mean, which is 1.8800, and the question number 23 has the lowest mean, 0.9400. So the result is that the lower the mean scores, the lower the performance and avoidance of the students feel. So it's observed that the majority of the students have a low level of social anxiety.
To identify the relationship between self-esteem and social anxiety, Pearson correlation was used. As shown in the Table 4, there is no significant relationship between self-esteem and social anxiety. Therefore, the null hypothesis is accepted. However, the self-esteem of the student is high and their social anxiety is low.
In summary of findings, the first one is the level of the student's self-esteem. So based on the results, the self-esteem of the students of University of Cebu Main Senior High School has increased. So we presume that the student does not have the feeling of social anxiety. So next, the performance anxiety and the social fear of the students. So the majority of the students have a low level of social anxiety. So which means that the students got used to the positive ambience of socialism. So as what we observed in the results is that their self-esteem is higher than their social anxiety. So there is positively no significance to their self-esteem. So the null hypothesis is accepted since the result shows that these two have no significant relationship.
Based on the findings, level of social anxiety shows no significant relationship between students' self-esteem. However, their self-esteem is high and their social anxiety is low. Furthermore, probably one of the greatest contribution of the student's self-esteem is their positive mindset in building and performing relationship towards another.
Based on the results, the following recommendations are drawn. Number 1. For the further, researchers should increase the number of samples to be the representation of the population of the study. Number 2. In addition, further research is expected to examine further whether there are factors that can affect between the self-esteem and social anxiety of the students. Number 3. Encourage students and support them from parents, fellow students, and teachers to help them develop self-express. And number 4. School faculties and staff may continue implementing programs to guide the students by encouraging them to pursue other achievements and any forms of motivations to avoid such incidents.